Do you know how to write right? Well, I, a right-handed man, am going to tell you how to write right, so you can write that book about the Wright brothers. Also, a sneak peek of my new short story, The Platypus That Cried Milk. Is that right? That's right. As always, I would like to remind you that entries for the Seth drawing experience will be due by the end of the month. Please leave your hyperlinks in the YouTube comments. But today, I have brought in a special guest star to the couch. He is going to debunk some writing myths, and I'll allow him to introduce himself. Hi, my name is Seth Lewis, and I have been writing my entire life. I've never done it professionally, but trust me, I know a thing or two. Alright, first question. Is writer's block a real thing? Yes, writer's block is a real thing. What you have to understand is that a writer's job is so serious. I mean, people die trying to get into this business, and no one ever seems to get accepted by publishers. So there is a huge amount of pressure, more than in really a lot of other jobs. But I think that even people that do carpentry or plumbing or whatever, if they were to come into this business, they'd find out that they'd start having, fits, and they'd feel the pressure themselves. Writing is just such an emotional experience that it's hard not to get invested into it. So, yes, it's definitely real. Do writers have trouble coming up with new ideas? Writers have no trouble coming up with new ideas, no. I think that the reason people think this is because a lot of publishers will reuse ideas from James Bond and Harry Potter, and they do this because they know those are bankable. But if you ask any writer to come up with their own idea, I assure you they probably have hundreds or even thousands. So, no, that is never a problem. Do the writer's characters control their own fate? This is an interesting question, and I think the answer is yes. It doesn't seem like it is. It sounds like something magical. But as you're writing, you explore your character's emotions a lot more. And the character's emotions begin to lead the story. You know, I personally believe in planning out my stories before I write them and having the ending all set up. But I also know that there will be a few changes along the way. It's almost impossible for there not to be. In fact, I'd argue you wouldn't be a good writer if you didn't make some changes in the second draft. But, yes, I do believe this. You should write every single day to be a good writer. Yes, you should write every single day if you want to be a good writer. Now, it's okay to take breaks every now and then, and it's healthy, but you're going to want to work hard. Is it a good idea to take a break from a story and then come back to it a month later? Yes, so this is an interesting one. Stephen King discovered that if you leave a story for a month and then come back to it, you see it in a whole new light. And I've heard a lot of writers say that this is their favorite piece of advice, and I full-heartedly believe in it. Drugs can help writers create a masterpiece. No, I do not believe in this, and I will tell you why. Because people who write stories on drugs almost always do a terrible job. These stories, they do not have a reason for their scenes. They're stupid. It's like crying butter and people just turning into bugs. People that are on drugs write bad stories. They've lost what it means to do a good job. And that to me is what it's all about, doing a good job. I will say it is possible to write a story even when you're on drugs, but I'm not a believer in the whole idea that drugs lead to greatness. No. Writers don't have to worry about grammar and spelling because their editors can take care of that. No, you should know as much as you can about writing. Grammar, spelling is all important. Writers shouldn't read other authors' works because they might accidentally steal their style. No, but I do get where this one is coming from. You know, you don't want to steal writers' style. I think if you just try to avoid it, if you don't do it intentionally, you can usually get away with it. But I think that you should always be reading and learning more about the craft. Writers are loners. Yes, this is true. You should write what you know. No, I don't believe in this one, and I'll tell you why. People write all sorts of stuff. They write fantasy, they write sci-fi, they write Western, and they've never done those things. These people haven't fought aliens or rode around on a horse in the desert or even, sailed on a pirate ship. Or maybe they have done those things, but the point that I'm making is that I feel like all you have to do is research the subject and get an idea of how that person would think in the situation. I've never believed in this, and I think it's stupid. And before we end off, I would like to ask you what you think about writing. Well, I just want to say that writing is a great joy for me. I do it a lot on this show, writing scripts, and I think that you just have to keep practicing it. It is hard to get into this business, but, it's worth it because you get to do what you love. And, you'll probably be okay as long as you work another job. Or even if you don't, you can probably make do. Don't be bothered by that kind of stuff. It'll be fine. Just try your best, because that's all you can do. Well, that's it. Hope to see you again on the couch. Hey, it was great, and I hope to see you again soon. Now, I have a surprise for you all. I have written my own short story that I'm going to read to all of you. It's called The Platypus That Cried Milk. If you'll follow me. The Platypus That Cried Milk by Seth Lewis. Oh, Platypus, I have set you free, out into the ocean, to jump and play to your heart's desire. God bless your duck bill and waffle-shaped tail. You cry milk as you leave me. I cry maple syrup and butter as I leave you. Yet, as I'm about to turn around and as you're waddling across the sand to the ocean, a giant merman, the size of 10 1/4 buildings, comes out of the water. I poop pink turds, he says. Then he raises up his hands, and a swarm of moths come down from the sky. They pick up my platypus, and he flies into the air. They also went down and picked up other platypuses, platypi, doesn't matter, from the beach. Thousands of platypuses soaring through the blue, pooping beautiful pink turds as they went. The merkin then turns to me. Handman, bless you! At that moment, my hands began talking and singing in praise to the heavens, poop filling my breeches and tears streaming from my eyes. I named my hands Jennifer and Carl, and they're still with me to this day. The merkin returned to the sea. From that day on, I had 2 friends to chat with. Also, platypuses can fly now. I'm sure mine is up there somewhere watching me in his platypus kingdom in the clouds.